The Bar Group, raising the bar in real estate. Your Lake Highlands, Lakewood, Preston Hollow pros. You can find them at thebargroup.com. Unparalleled customer service for your real estate needs. The Bar Group.
Coming through.
You know, I got up this morning to walk my awesome dogs. My wife and I walk the dogs in the morning before we have to jump into, getting kids off to 8th and 6th grade. And I got smacked in the face, like literally like smacked in the face. And it hurt. It, like you see stars, but the weird thing about it is it wasn't physical. It wasn't by an individual. And it wasn't by pickleball yet. Pickleball comes later, but it was music. I put on Chris Spedding, who was supposed to take Keith Richards' spots in the Stones back in the 60s, but nobody knows that. And I was like, whoa. So, needless to say, I was amped up, and it was a good wake-up for that. Speaking of waking up, this man that we have on next, he has more, no pun intended, skins on the wall, his last name. It kind of rhymes with that. And I'm just going to go with this because he's very intimidating when I say this. But let's just go. So my next guest is a managing partner for the National Pickleball League, LLC, the CEO, Team Witsken, Tennis and Pickleball, LLC, top rank senior pickleball player, just to name a few. I mean, this dude's just a good baller. But the amazing thing he has, and anybody I bring on our show here, and he's a part of our show because he's on it, is his passion, his love, his desire. And he saw it, and I read a bunch of things on him. I'm glad I had the opportunity. His name is Mr. Rick Witsken. And real quick, I got one more thing here. This goes to tennis. If this doesn't tell you this guy's genes are set for some type of rack sports crazy, but he has a nephew who is now third round of the Australian Open, and his name is Mr. Rick Witsken. Talk about that nephew real quick. Where's he at now?
His name is Benjamin Shelton.
There we go.
And Ben is in the third round of the Australian Open. He plays at 3 a.m. and he's playing an Australian. And the guy's name is Alexi Papirin. And the winner would play the winner of J.J. Wolf, or last name Mo. Mm-hmm. And the ironic thing is that literally before this call, I was looking at flights to Australia, because if my nephew wins at 3 a.m., I'm booking a flight and I'm going to Australia to be there to support him.
With Curtis. I'm just kidding.
Benjamin Todd Shelton. He's middle name after my deceased brother, Todd Witsken. It's a really cool story how he evolved.
Mm-hmm. All right, show's over. That's the story. See you. No, I'm just kidding. That's an amazing story, man. That really is. That's cool. Well, we'll be looking for him. And we'll get an update next week when we have a show going on. So you got to watch it, Rick. So
yeah. Well, you know what? If you don't mind, I'd like to kind of share that.
Sure, go for it, man.
A little deeper. I think your listeners would appreciate it.
Yes,
and
sir.
Curtis, I really appreciate you having me on the Pickleball Show and everything you do for the game and the promotion of it. Obviously, I'm really good friends with Amy Yarbrough, a co-clinician running camps, and she's a really good person, and I can tell you are too. And by the way, I love music, and I think, the song that I was listening to also earlier today, Old Town Road by Billy Ray Cyrus.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one right there, man.
I really like that.
Did my producer Ren pay you to be nice to me or what? Did my producer Ren pay you to be nice to me or what?
No.
I'm just kidding. Thank you very much. I'm serious. Thank you. Keep going.
But you can just tell when you're with a person in a good vibe, and I like vibes. I like music, and pickleball has created that for me. But just from a spiritual sense, I just wanted to share that my sister Lisa, we're one of 8 kids, and Lisa met her husband Brian when my brother Todd was dying with a brain tumor, and they may have met prior to that, but they absolutely forged their union of matrimony and love through that awful scenario. And Curtis, nobody's had the perfect life. Obviously, we're about the same age. I'm a little older than you by a couple years, but we've kind of seen the good, the bad, and the ugly of everything. And I just think it's really, really important that everybody draws on inspirational stories from so many people. Obviously, for you, it might have been your coach back in the day. But, when you see a guy like my brother, Todd Witsken, who was #1 in the world in pro doubles and top 40 in singles, and a good looking guy that everybody wanted to date, Sabatini and Tracy Austin. And he just was revered by everybody, including me. When he started, getting a death sentence of 6 months from a brain tumor, you think, how could this possibly happen? But then he had the mentality of, why not me? People get cancer every day. So he kind of embraced it, if you will.
Yes, sir.
And that was amazing. And so when you think about Brian, Todd's best friend from the pro tennis tour, connecting with my sister, Lisa, in a really deep way during that awful time. And then they produced 2 amazing children, Benjamin, Todd, and then Emma as well. I mean, they're college tennis players, but Ben has won the national championship in singles. He's won the team championship, and he won 3 challenges in a row, went from 600 in the world, which he was like playing college tennis last year, to now he's 80 in the world. If he wins tonight, he's probably 70, and he has no points to defend. The guy's going to be top 50 by the end of the year for sure. He's sitting on $250,000 in the 3rd round of the Australian Open right now and could win more. And it's not even about the money for him or his family, but the level of fame that he's risen to has just been amazing. And it's just a spiritual story. When I get to see him play, that's why I want to go see him in Australia. I want to go see him whenever I can, because he's almost living out through Uncle Todd, his incredible passion and spirit.
That's pretty good. That's amazing. I mean, that's really good. Hell, that's a way to start a Friday. Shit, that's part of my language. I'm sorry. That was great. I mean, I'm gonna watch it. Screw it. I'll stay up 3 a.m. and watch it. I'll wake up my dog and piss my wife. I'm just gonna watch this. So deal with it.
Yeah. It'll probably be on ESPN Plus. It was on ESPN2 a little bit, but they kind of zip in and out of his match and other matches. But ESPN Plus is where I watch him.
All right. Well, let's reset here again, like in pickleball, right? So. This guy's awesome. This is awesome. So let's get to it, man. Let's get to the boring stuff. Like let's talk about the why did you get into pickleball, that fun stuff, and let's go from there. Tell us why and when and all that.
Yeah, about 12 years ago, I actually had a coworker in my tennis business that started falling in love with pickleball. His name is John Kristen, and he wanted me to spar with him in singles. Mm-hmm. And so I was kind of at the point in tennis at 40 years old where I was thinking, this game's getting tougher and tougher on my body. I've kind of done everything I want to do with it from a playing perspective. Mm-hmm. So it'd be neat to find another challenge. And I loved ping pong growing up with 7 siblings, 4 brothers, playing all the time. I watch him play a little bit. It wasn't on the YouTube videos and everything when I got into it, but I literally, just seeing a little bit of clip of singles and then playing singles made me feel like this is tennis, but an easier method and a different method. And it's not going to be as rough on my body. But I'm 6'3", 225 pounds. So, I don't want to be playing singles in tennis anymore at age 40. So I just fell in love with singles, Curtis. And, from there, obviously, I started loving doubles and mixed doubles. But I also knew that the sport had incredible potential to grow to insane. I would consider myself a visionary. Mm-hmm. And I actually helped build a club where they didn't share the same vision of pickleball. And so I left that club.
Yeah, I get it. I did too. I've left 2 of them. I swear to you. Keep going. Wow.
Well, being tennis and pickleball guys, I'm sure we both have taken darts.
Oh my God. Don't even start with that. Oh God.
But Curtis, think about like 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 6 years ago, whenever you started really gathering your affinity for the sport, think about how those people look back now with their conversations with us. We're like, wow, that Curtis guy, he must have known what he was talking about. He must have been onto something.
He was on his medication when he figured this shit out. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I didn't look back, and the sport's been so good to me. And quite frankly, I was asked on another show like why I love pickleball, and what it does for so many people has me in love with the sport. Yes, I play professionally. Yes, I made money. Yes, I'm running camps and whatnot. But just seeing what it does for the average person that doesn't have a passionate workout cycle where they're not really being very healthy to turn them healthy. It's just the healthiest addiction you could have. And I really love that in our lifetime, something's blowing us away that'll never be replicated, that we never thought could blow up in this capacity. It's just unbelievable.
It's like I said in the pre-show for whatever you call it. We talked about. I told you about me getting in because of my dad, and he was like the 4th or 5th episode. Yeah, listen to it, but he's the reason why I just get back on court with him. So I feel like it was selfish because I've been on court with him since '97, and he's a bigger guy. He was 6'3", 6'4". Now he's probably 6'2", and he's a lefty, and and we had so much fun for that amount of time. It was probably about 8-9 months, and then he just his message to the people was know your body. He has no equilibrium, or I'm sorry, his sense of balance lost equilibrium, and he just works out his house. He's got to take care of mom, and they're 81 and 79, but he is very adamant about and that's when I knew in my heart, I'm like, wow, I got my dad up. Let's not be selfish. Let's go do it. Let's go make a fool of ourselves. And Matt, people say, you're crazy, man. That's dumb. You're named after a dog, okay? And I'm like, it's not named after a dog. Anyway, so like you said, throwing darts, man. I got them all over, man. I mean, you probably got more. You're a little bigger than me. I'm only 6'1", but it's So that's it. Mr. Rick there said it. He just the passion, everything we talk about in here, and so that's.
What's cool, Curtis, is that my 92-year-old dad is coming over after this show, and I haven't seen him for probably since the holidays, and he's coming to pick up a Ripskin paddle for my mom, who's 83, and she's missing her Ripskin paddle.
I want one of those.
Ripskin stands for rest in peace for my brother Todd, rest in peace. And it's a Paddle-Tech paddle, but like she doesn't have one and she wants one, and it's just so cute to see my 92-year-old, my 83-year-old mom, like they're really into pickleball and they follow it, and I'm just so proud that my family has embraced the sport that I love, because they follow me and they get asked for updates, and now they want to use the Ripskin paddle, which is fantastic.
Oh, absolutely. And tell us more about that real quick again. You said it's for your brother Todd, but just kind of go into a little more detail because some of our listeners and pros might want to play with one or use one.
Yeah, so it's a Paddle-Tech Bantam XL Pro. Honestly, it doesn't have grit on it, but it has an incredible soft honeycomb core. And, my tennis background allows me to create a lot of the topspin and backspin on my own just with my shot production. So I feel like the amount of drops and dinks and control that I have are second to none with that paddle. And so that's why I use it. The Paddle-Tech Bantam XL Pro. I do weight my paddle heavier than most. I'm up to 9.1.
Wow.
Players are probably between 7.6 and 8.5. I wouldn't recommend that always for somebody that's a little older that might have arm problems, but I do like the heavier paddle.
Yeah, heavier meaning that takes away the vibration, like in tennis when is that similar to what you're doing, making it weight heavier so there's less vibration, easier to swing through the ball? Is that right?
Yeah, I think more for me, it sticks the ball. Obviously, you have a little heavier paddle, it's going to make more inertia and force into the back. So I think it's more about it getting stick on the ball than it is what you said.
No, I think it's great. The stick, I've never heard that terminology. That's great. Yeah. That's so you've already answered. You endorsed the what brand are you with now again? You said Paddle-Tech, is that right?
Yeah, so I'm definitely with Paddle-Tech on the front of paddles. Acacia has sent me some shoes, and I'm in negotiations with them on shoes. Jojo and Low Apparel have sent me some nice colorful. I don't know if you know this, Curtis, but I'm a little colorful on the court.
I don't want to say anything, but it's okay. I'm just kidding.
So
off the air. Probably the rest of your life. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, so
So yeah,
paddle tech, that's great. Well, that's right. I'm kind of, I don't know. I got a long story, but anyway, I've used this one right here just for fun, the Vice, because Corbin's our local guy. He's a great young man, and he does diadem, and we had a diadem guy, and who's Gene, who's going to take over the player programming over there in diadem in Florida. They're doing, I probably can't talk about it, but anyway, they're doing something big over there. But he's a good person, and so why paddle tech? I was asked that. I mean, is it just is it the vibe, or is it the paddle? Is it the company? What is it?
that's a really good question. I'm friends with Curtis and his wife Nanette, and they're a homegrown Midwestern, Michigan, Indiana, obviously, and I just think they're salt of the earth people, and that matters to me. Yeah, maybe I could get a little heftier contract somewhere else, but money's not the only qualification for me being sponsored. Right. It's really important to know that people care, that are sponsors, about the Ripskin story. The fact that Curtis was willing to put the Ripskin on my logo on my paddle was very important to me. And Curtis did, and Paddletech did spend a lot of money on a really impressive photo shoot that had Catherine Parenteau and Andrea Coop and myself and Kyle Yates and Adam Stone. Yeah. So that was a really, and the Lee Waters and Anna Lee Waters. We were all at a photo shoot, and they obviously cared enough about Senior Pro to have me there.
Hell yeah, man. Us old guys are worth something, bro, right?
Yeah. Yes. I agree with you. That's why the NPL's coming right around the corner.
Well, that's great. What the cool thing that I get to hear, and I feel you. I moved. I'm still doing tennis, and I'm kind of a dual pro. I'm not I do both, but I switched from a company that I love, near. I'm not gonna say what it is, but it was near and dear to my heart for over 2 decades. And it was just one of those things where I've been shifting around and trying to find the right spot, the right gig, the right place, and thank goodness my wife supports it, and for some reason she loves me, had kids with me. I don't know what's wrong with her, but but when I told her that I met with a guy Thursday, and he's an old from the newer company. He just was a guy I've known for a long time, and I was like, well, what you got? And he's like, you're good. We'll take care of you. And I'll tell you off the air who it is, but anyway, it's a blessing, and I love both the companies. I do. Not that I'm this amazing pro, but I'm like you. I'm half. There's 4 of us, not 8 of us. Okay. I'm more family oriented, and that's what I like the most. And I've heard that. I have not heard one person say anything bad about a company whatsoever. But what's consistent is the family aspect, and that is like you said. Especially as we get older, it's like, money's awesome, and I get it. We all need it, believe me. But it's good to have that family aspect. Now, you're right. It does give you that warm feeling. That makes you want to play better, right?
Absolutely.
So right now, certifications, I've got a couple of them, the IPTPA, and then working on PTR and some other things. Did you do that at all for your instructors, or what do you make your pros do, or your players? Is there a certain they're all good, a certain certification you like for your employees or employee partners?
So I'm PPR certified.
Very good.
And the reality is that I've been coaching for 35 years. I do not require my staff members to be certified. Yeah. I do train them. If I wanted to open a branch of Ripskin certification at Pickleball Pros, I could, but I'm not going to do that.
Fair enough.
But I'm very confident in the structure in which we have evolved at Ripskin and Team Witsken Pickleball. So it's nothing against IPTPA and PPR. Dan Santorum is a very good friend of mine. Yes. He's the CEO of PPR, and I almost went to a workshop, or not to be a guest speaker at their symposium, but the dates didn't match up. But I'm fully in support of what they do too. So, but yeah, I don't.
That's great. Oh, there's nothing wrong with that. There's no right or wrong, man. Hey, no right or wrong. Because you know what? Like I said, our goal is to, when somebody watches this, one day, and I left the business for 4 years and had a pretty successful insurance business, primarily small business and stuff like that, and got back in 2018. And a friend of mine, a guy who played Baylor, won national championship in 2004. He's a good friend of mine. He's the one that talked me into getting into it. And you leave for a while, right? But there's no right or wrong way to do something. and I think it's important to be the example, to be the example, not set the example, not be the example, what not to do. And I believe what you're doing. I think it's great. There's several people who have accomplished, players who turned directors who feel the same way. And I think it's great. It's whatever anybody likes, and it's how you can get the best out of your employee partners, right? So that's cool. I dig it.
Absolutely.
So, okay, we talked about this earlier. What's your favorite? Singles, doubles, or mixed? Depending on the temperature, what are you feeling?
It's crazy, Curtis,
Here it
because it really depends on what day you talk to me.
Oh.
It's bizarre. I mean, literally in 2022, which was my best year for pro pickleball, it was at the beginning.
Talk about that for a sec. Tell us. Let us know here real quick.
Yeah. So, I mean, I won 8 different titles with 8 different partners on the men's pro. And, my mixed doubles partner was a staple all year, Beth Bellamy, who's the top female senior pro.
Wow.
We won so many titles, and because she's amazing. And then, but by the middle of the year, first it was mixed doubles, but then I started really getting on a roll where I won like 5 or 6 men's doubles tournaments in a row.
Who'd you play with?
I was just saying to myself, I really want to focus on singles the last 4 or 5 months of the year, because I know I can do it, but it's just so hard when it's back to back to back, 3 days in a row, doubles, then mixed, and singles is typically always the last day. So I felt like a lot of times I'd kind of pull out after I played a couple matches. I was tired, didn't want to miss my flight home. And then I just said, you know what, I'm doing it in singles. And so singles is where I think I finished the strongest, maybe. And I remember the CEO of MLP, Brian Levine, I remember talking to him in Hilton, and he's like, so what changed for you in singles? And I said, I wanted it like more. Like I've always wanted it, but wanting it with a burning desire is different than wanting it with a desire. And so I could feel that and coming on. And so then I beat Matthias for the first time and got some medals. And so I like them all. It just really depends on the day. And I just feel very blessed because there are a lot of single specialists. There are a lot of double specialists. And there's some guys that just do mixed better than both. And for me, I really don't feel like one versus the other is a huge priority to me at this point.
Fair enough. So I'll tell you what, this is a good question for you, if I may ask. So objectively, obviously, anything you say, I'm not going to hold you and say, I'll come back to you, man, you were full of crap, man. You said this and this day. I'm not like that. It doesn't work that way. What do you think, again, objectively, do you feel like singles would be a good strategy offensively versus doubles and men's, or versus mixed? Like maybe one sentence, brief description of the three that you think would be a primary difference, like scoring, tactics, I don't know, opponents. What do you think?
Well, you said offensively. I'm not really sure.
Well, I'm sorry. What would you say is the main thing you want to focus on with regards to each one of those?
Okay.
Singles, mixed,
well,
doubles.
Obviously for singles, it's fitness. Like literally, I don't train much, especially last year when I was playing tournaments week in and week out. But I did have a guy that I worked with to help his game, but it was singles. And literally just doing that made me feel like I was keeping my fitness level up enough where I didn't have to train and play back games of doubles and mixed and all that stuff. So, obviously you're hitting so many balls and you're going so much further out wide and whatnot. I just think from a sheer training perspective, if you only had the chance to do one more than the others, I would do more singles than the other two. The men's doubles is so much different than mixed. It's not even funny. I mean, literally the amount of court I cover in mixed, to cover my female partner for the lob, but also the drop shots and whatnot. It's just fully different than men's doubles. I do think that a strategy of picking on a weaker player is super, super important in mixed doubles. It doesn't happen as much in men's doubles, but in men's doubles, I feel like starting the firefights and when and where you do it tactically is so important. Whereas mixed, there are amazing women that play mixed. Don't get me wrong, but it is typical where the guy's starting the firefight on the woman almost from any place in the court transition area, the baseline, or up at the kitchen. So that's very different, those two events.
Yeah. I used to play mixed open with my partner. Her name was Zdena Rebakova. She was a sparring partner with, she was from Prague, and we worked together at Brookhaven for, I don't even know, almost 10 years. And she was like a sister to me. She was awesome. But she was a sparring partner with Martina Hingis, Navratilova, and we played doubles. I mean, she's the one that was banging balls. I was the one that just moved an angle and put it away. I was a serving volleyer. I have 4 kids. We couldn't afford it, so I just learned to serve and volley. All my dad said was, okay, watch McEnroe, watch Stefan Edberg. Okay, there's also this guy named Patrick Rafter. I'm like, dude, what about Pete Sampras? Pete's a jerk. No, Dad, don't edit that. But I'm just saying, so I was like, I'm a serving volley. That's all I'm going to do. Pat Cash, my boy, let's go in, So I think that all that's so important. So how about, let's see here. That was great. I love all that. That's so awesome what you said. So for your club, you want to tell us a little bit about that? What's the atmosphere there like with both sports? Objectively, obviously, is it all unison? Is it all what are your pros doing? And again, you can just kind of say a lot of people are just letting pros kind of find their own way, which is totally the best way to do it. And so, is it pretty vibrant there with you guys in pickleball?
Yeah. So Indianapolis is a big, thriving pickleball city.
Wow.
That being said, there are a lot of outdoor courts, and my indoor facility is fairly small. It's only 2 tennis courts, 4 indoor pickleball courts. Perfect. And we share and we blend the tennis and the pickleball. And to your point, I'm still mildly involved in tennis, not a lot, but I have 2 daughters that are in high school. They're getting ready to play on their high school team, which is a pretty good team, and they both have varsity potential. So that's fun to still be connected with them. But as far as the facility is concerned, because I'm on the road a lot, I do defer to my other coaches to doing their lessons and clinics. And probably 3 hours a day, I teach privates. And I really haven't done a lot of organized group clinics. I know I could get those off the ground and do fairly well here, but ironically, or not ironically, I really like going other places to run my camp.
Oh yeah,
and
nothing wrong with that.
And I'll be going with Amy to San Antonio in 3 weeks, and I'm going to Naples to run a camp in actually in 2 weeks, and then I'm going to go to Greece in September. We're going to Colorado. I mean, just probably 20 cities I'm going to run camps. So I like to keep the bigger facilities for my travel camps rather than but there is a $6 million facility, Curtis. You're going to love it. I'll have to have you in town when it opens up at the end of the year. It's called Pick 10, and it's going to be a very much like a Chicken and Pickle, where it's got a bar and a restaurant.
What'd you call it again? You cut it. I'm sorry. What was it again? It's called what?
It's Pickle on Penn.
Nice.
The acronym is POP. And I keep waiting for it to open because they're good friends of mine, the owners. They're going to have home of Ripskin, and they're going to actually list a dish after the Ripskin queso, which is really cool.
That's great, dude.
They're good people, and I'm sure we'll talk about NPL at some point in this conversation, but them possibly hosting the Indianapolis chapter of NPL would be really cool too.
That's great. I mean, oh God, we could do like 3 segments, man. But we're gonna hold off. I'm not even gonna ask you at the end. I'm gonna tell you you're coming back, so forget about it. So let's see here. All right, I love this because we're not to this next segment, but we're still talking about you and your pickleball. Of all of your endeavors in the sport that you like to discuss, what's your current focus in the sport right now? You may have said that earlier, but you can just kind of let us know what you're focusing on right now.
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because I'm getting a lot of messages from incredible supporters that I had last year, following my every move in tournaments and up the rankings of APP. And my goal was to finish number 1, which I did. And honestly, my goal my interest has focused this year to being more. I love coaching. I've done it a long time. I'm sure you're a great coach, and you can't just leave that aspect of life. No. So running these camps, but also finding a better alternative for the senior pros, which are now called champions level players, was super important to me because, it wasn't the most exciting. My wife's like, "Oh, you must love going to the tournaments." I'm like, "Huh, no, I don't love going to these tournaments at all, but I love achieving a goal and I like building my brand." And so I got to a point where this year it's about the National Pickleball League and it's about running camps. And I've got some online videos. And I don't care if I play more than the National Pickleball League and the U.S. Open and Nationals. I know Beth and I are probably going to go try and defend some titles and whatnot, but the money has been lowered in the senior pro circuit. So I don't typically want to go play a tournament if I win gold, and I can't cover my expenses. I'm not doing that. So that's where my focus is right now.
I have a feeling you'll be fine. So it's funny because when I was at Brookhaven for a while, 10 years of my life, actually, I loved it. I've been in a lot of great places. I've liked every place I've stopped at. You name it, I did, and that's all there is to it. I had to string rackets, and I was certified master racket tech and all that stuff, and I've customized, and I enjoy it. I'm no disrespect to the stringers out there. You guys are amazing. And I still string a little bit at my current place, but not too often. But back in 2006 and 7, they have what was called you guys are, you're called the, what do they call you guys in MPL? What are you called? The Masters?
National League.
Okay. Well, the tennis for the older guys like McEnroe, I met him, and Philippoussis, that they called that the I believe the Legends Tour.
Legends, when we're champions.
Yes. So that was it takes off, and I mean, how can I say this? Every area is different with regards to the demographic of what's on their palate for their sport, right? And I know some of the places that place went boom. I mean, it exploded. And some places, I guess it was just the date wasn't that big. But I know for a fact, I don't see, mark my words, people. I'll tell you right now, I have a feeling that when you get this going, this will be, and I'm not saying this to kiss your ass. I'm a horrible liar, and I'm not lying when I say that. I'm telling you, I have a feeling this will be even bigger and better because I went to my first live true one at the Texas Open I've had time for, and I saw Mark Cuban there. I saw Kyson. I saw, I'm killing myself right now. I can see your face. I see these guys' faces. Jay was there. I met Jay. How you say his name?
DeVilliers?
Yes, I met him. Did a picture with him and Vulcan. And anyway, it's so much fun. I mean, and I hope that the Legends can kind of keep the same vibe because the younger crowd, they're probably more aggressive fans. They'll screw all this fun intimacy up. I might be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that they keep it as intimate as possible because I think it's great. Because, I mean, I joke about my ADHD. It's true. I really kid, but I'm serious about it. I mean, I sat attentive and watched 2 matches. My buddy Kevin Mark was playing. I saw him play, but
I know Kevin.
Oh yeah, he was one of my. That's a funny story. Ask him how he met me. He'll tell you. But anyway, I'm so happy.
Let me expand on that for a second, Curtis, because I really like what you're saying, and this is a passion for us to embrace champions level players in a really fun. You use the word intimate, and that's what it'll be. Literally at 6 indoor court facilities with team atmosphere. We've had so much support and so many potential team owners and sponsors reach out to us. Yeah. We're super excited about that. There's maybe a couple people that aren't fully embracing what we're doing.
Who cares?
Because we know we're going to do it. You've got the top male and female in Beth Bellamy and I, and then Michael Chen, who's extremely brilliant businessman and also senior pro behind the operation. And we feel like it's going to be amazing. So I cannot wait for you to come. Obviously, if you live in Texas, you're around a lot of chicken and pickles. So we will absolutely be in your backyard in some near future. I
had them on, Mark and Laura. They ran the Grand Prairie one. They have such a great story, man. Anyway, I'm not trying to be all sympathy and all that stuff. I'm just saying that they've only been here a year. She moved down here from Michigan, and you gotta hear the story anyway. They came in and they're running the Chicken and Pickle and Grapevine, which is probably about 25 minutes from the studio, because we're really in Dallas off the tollway, and we're gonna be fine. So yeah, and for those that don't like it, it's your loss. So let's do this real quick. What's the end of all your endeavor? I'll be messing things up. I gotta slow down. You get me all excited and I go off the charts. Sorry.
I like the vibe.
I just get passionate about stuff. Let's talk about you. Okay, where's your hold on. Let's talk about you. Where did you grow up and your college and all that stuff? And let's tell us a little bit about that. Your wife, your kids, all that. Where you live.
Yeah, so I grew up in Carmel, Indiana. We were one of the first families to that small suburban community in northern Indianapolis. And I went there in high school. I won 2 state championship tennis titles, and then I won a team title as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to the University of Alabama,
Nice.
where I was a 2-time All-American. Obviously, Alabama University, it's the SEC, which is a really tough conference with Florida and Georgia and Mississippi State, Kentucky, LSU. Anyway, that was a great experience. And then I started playing pro tennis. I was ranked 400 in the world. And my brother, who was 7 years older than me, Todd, who was I mentioned earlier in the show, he was just a mentor for me. And he asked me if I wanted to come work with him because he was running a huge facility in Indianapolis, the Indianapolis Tennis Center. And instead of staying on the tour, I decided to go work for him because I loved being around him, and he was really smart. And I just didn't feel like traveling all over the world when I was more of a double specialist at the time wasn't that prudent of a decision based on how they're minimizing draws, letting the singles ranking, come into draws and whatnot. It just the tees weren't reading the tea leaves said go get their job at 23 years old. So, and which is interesting, Curtis, because this whole pro pickleball launch gave me that opportunity that I didn't pursue enough, which was pro tennis. Later in life, it gave me the pursuit of a professional playing career. And I'm forever indebted to pickleball for giving me that. I feel very blessed for that. So, and I've got an incredible wife, Bridget. She's a nurse practitioner. She helps everybody and anybody. And we have 3 kids together. I have a stepson and stepdaughter, and I have a biological daughter, but they're really all my kids. Peyton and Colin lost their dad when they were 1 and 2 years old. So I came into their life at age 7 and 8, and now they're 14 and 15, and I'm padre to them, and I love them like they're my own. And my wife is an incredible mom to my Brittany. So Brittany's an 18-year-old. I just took her on a college visit, and she's looking to playing small college tennis. So that's where we are in life, and it was really hard to be gone so much in them last year, but they all understood that I had goals and I was building a brand, and I feel very appreciative that I have a supportive family.
I hear you, man. So real quick, favorite place to play?
Well, the vibe at Nationals this year in Palm Springs was unbelievable. The music they played you said music earlier, and I'm a huge, I really believe in it. I mean, even, to the point where I like to listen before matches to certain songs and things. So, I would have to say Palm Springs is probably my favorite place to play. And obviously, playing at the U.S. Open site where the New York City Open was with APP, that was very spiritual for me because that's where my brother Tom beat Jimmy Connors.
Wow, man.
So it's kind of ironic that it's the 2 largest tennis facilities with a turned pickleball were my 2 favorite sites on the circuit last year.
Brother Todd's watching you, man. I can't have rooting for you, baby. So what's your favorite shot?
I have an affinity for using my left hand. It really helps me in singles a lot. And so I'm obviously a right-handed player, and I want to encourage everybody to use their non-dominant hand more than they do. But I've gotten to the point where I can hit drives right-handed, left-handed, forehands, certainly in the overhead, and even just when I'm off balance on the left side of my body rather than doing a cross step.
I think I've seen you play before I met you on the TV, man. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up because I'm like, did you just, and then I remember now because if I know your build, I think I've seen it because I can tell you the hat. I recognize weird crap. I'm pretty sure it's you because you had I hope it's you. The leggings on, I think they were black, and you had on like all that, and then the white shirt, and it was your shirt. Oh, I'm not making this up. I mean, I remember these things, and I'm like, that guy's freaking nuts.
Yeah,
I'm talking to him.
Well, I don't want to be considered normal. That's for sure.
Hey, that's why we get along so well. That we're from big families, right?
Look, I actually do feel like there's a lot of similarities between you and I, and just talking to you now. But I love that you are like kind of passionate in a very transparent way, and very and that's huge to me for pickleball. There's such a growth in this sport, and I've seen a lot of pro players be coy about a sponsorship or a tournament or this or that. I like letting it out there, man, being real with people. And that served me well most of the time. I've been burned by a few scenarios, but we're 50 and over, and that just means that, who knows how much time we have on this earth, but being around good people that are real honest and straight shooters, that's who I would like aligning myself with.
I always tell my wife, Melanie, that good things happen to good people. We all go through hills and valleys. My dad always said that, and Dad always says that. My mom says the same thing. It's like, you just got to go enjoy the good days, because as you get older, the bad days are out there more. And so you're right about that vibe. All right, so I have a new segment. I brainstormed it. Are you sure my producer Ren's not paying you, man? Because you're being way too nice to me, man. I'm just kidding. I appreciate it. I suck at compliments, man. I was raised to be very humble and not show off and just say please, yes. I didn't fly being showing off. That didn't go well.
Hey, man, I liked your accent when I came on. I'm like, this guy's got an accent.
Oh,
that's pretty cool. In Alabama, I had lots of Southern draws down in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and I hear a little bit from Curtis like that.
I'm not from Texas, you jerk. You know what Amy said? she goes, I love you, man. She goes, I don't listen to when I do these. I don't listen to them because it makes me nervous. But I wanted to make sure hers was right because I got to dot my T's and cross my whatever that is, like I do with you. And so one of the things she says, she's not born here. She's from Ohio, a Midwest girl. And she goes, we speak the right language. I said, I'm from Kansas. So see, she said we as in me and her speaking the same language. So I do not have a Texas draw, but I still love it. All right. So this is called In the Kitchen. All right. This is where I'm just going to throw something out there like it's favorite band. What's your favorite jamboree, favorite band or song right now? Mine is an individual by the name of White Buffalo. And Not Today. It's a new album just came out, and I believe he's from the Kerala East Coast area. He's a great guy. Really good stuff. What are you jamming?
My favorite male vocalist is Edwin McCain.
Nice.
He sings that song, I'll Be.
Oh, wow.
But I am really being turned on to country in a big way. And as I said earlier on the show, Old Town Road.
Yeah.
That I listen to that now when I'm working out.
That's
I
great.
kind of it starts slow, and then it's like, oh yeah, I got this.
There you go, baby.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. So what's your favorite movie or binge series right now? My wife and I watched The Hatch-Wielding Hero on Netflix. Have you seen that?
No.
Seen it happened in 2013. I remember it. It's really weird. And anyway, But anyway, we're watching now on Netflix. And then that's what I'm doing right now. What are you binging, or what's your favorite movie right now?
I actually haven't seen a ton of movies, and I haven't watched a lot of TV, but you caught me at the right time.
Good.
Because Yellowstone.
Yes. That's why you like country, man. I'm just kidding.
Okay, so I swear, Curtis, I was actually born in the wrong generation. And do you remember the show Little House on the Prairie?
Yeah. Traumatized me.
Charles Ingalls. Like, I wanted to be Charles Ingalls growing up. And even when I watched Yellowstone, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm more of that.
That's more you than Little House on the Prairie, bro.
Yeah.
No disrespect.
Yellowstone all day.
God, we just started watching. We haven't even started the fifth season yet. We watched 2 of them. It's pretty good.
Woo!
Okay, don't tell me anything. All right, so you're doing a little bit of that. That's good. Well, I just like to keep it. People watch a show. Obviously, I want them to obviously get some educational stuff, and then eventually we'll be doing instructional stuff. But why not tap into a player or a pro's movie or listen or what they're doing right now. So,
nobody knows that. Like, honestly, my wife, because we were both sick over the holidays, we just popped that on. My cousin had recommended it. Yeah. And boy, am I thankful.
Isn't it great? It's great.
It used to be The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. Used to be my stupid show that I like to watch.
Oh, man. That's all right. Okay, now you get your man card back. You're a lot bigger than me, but I took your man card, through telekinesis and telepathy stuff, but you can have it back. So, who's your favorite sports team? Mine's the Chiefs, and mine's the Rangers and the Dallas Stars. Who do you like?
It's funny because I just was thinking about this today, that the Indianapolis Colts, the Indiana Pacers, and the Cincinnati Reds suck, and they've sucked for a long time. But I'm not changing my affiliation. Obviously, being a Bama boy has served me quite well, being an Alabama college football follower. But my pro teams, they've really struggled, but I'm still sticking with them.
I think the Colts are good. I like Matt Saturday. I don't know if you like him or not, but I think it was a good. I think it's a good move. I think that's how it's going to be. All right. So, favorite pet? Mine's we have a Havanese named Gus, who's a little nut job, and then we got a Labradoodle named Chief. My kids named him. I didn't name that. I swear to you.
That's awesome. Well, I'm absolutely a fur daddy of 2 dogs, and they're rescue dogs, and they're Brooks and Bailey.
There you go.
My wife's Bridget. My daughter's Brittany. So we got a lot of bees around this house.
Not the bees, but the name Brittany. And okay, I like that. That's a good call.
but I absolutely love dogs, and they are super, 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 super special to me.
Yep. So, okay, this is my favorite question, and I'll tell you what mine is. What's one thing nobody knows about you that's funny or weird or whatever? Mine, this is the truth. I can sit down and watch 70s, 80s science fiction movies for hours. I love them. So boring, but I love them. I just started watching Lost in Space on Prime. I love it. I love it.
Wow. Well, I'd probably say 2 things. Mm-hmm. My wife certainly knows this, but most people don't. I really love, and this came from my childhood experiences with my family, I love playing the game Risk on my phone just to get my competitive fix daily. Right before I go to bed, I'll play a game of Risk. Maybe even if I wake up a little early, I'll play a game of Risk. And so I love that board game. Yeah. And the other thing is I'm just so rustic. I love chainsaw, bonfire, outdoors, woods. I told you earlier. I mean, I literally was moving with 3 other workers, like 300-pound trees, because we're building a new property, and I just have to be part of the project. I can't just sit back, relax, and then let people half my age do the work.
You don't like to delegate. I hate delegating. Delegating is annoying to me. I'd rather be out there helping them because, I was raised, nobody's bigger than anybody else. It don't matter. No disrespect. It doesn't matter if you're the president of the company or you're parking golf carts, or it don't matter. Everybody is treated the same, and that's what I was taught. All me and my brothers and sisters. That's great. All right, so
brothers, Curtis, like seriously,
2 brothers and sisters. What's that?
You feel like my brother.
Oh, thanks, man. I can change that real quick. All right, so on the wrap up. All right, the wrap up. So how do our listeners, current and future pickleball professionals, contact you for an appointment, attend one of your camps? How would they get in touch with you, Rick?
So obviously my brand's Ripskin. You can see it on my shirt here. And going to Facebook or Instagram for Ripskin, it's all going to be listed, all these camps that I do. Obviously, the National Pickleball League, which is my hat here, NPL. I don't know. Can you see that or no?
Yes, sir. I can see it. Yes. There it's good. Yes.
So you can find out more about that. I don't think I did it justice, the NPL. We are so thankful that Chicken Pickle said we want to be the home of senior pro pickleball. And how we're going to blow out, we're going to have music there, obviously. And the venue and the live stream and the 120 players, it's going to be unbelievable. So I really am excited for people to follow that, because we'll be shooting plenty of video, and we've got talented people. Curtis, you're a talented guy, and 50-year-olds have learned enough in life to become talented. So super stoked for people to follow that as well. So, and then I've got a website, Team Witsken Tennis Pickleball, but there's National Pickleball League on Instagram and Facebook, and they should absolutely follow those. There's kind of another National Pickleball League, but that's not the real one. We're the real one.
There you go, baby. Well, that's the stuff we want to hear, And so if well, all right, fine, I'll ask it, whatever. Would you like to come back to the pickleball show? Fucking option.
Yeah, well, you feel like a brother to me, and it's fun to talk to family. Well, most of the time it's fun to talk to family. So no, and you're friends with Amy. You're a friend of mine. I love Texas. Look, we want your show. Maybe you do a broadcast at maybe the Chicken and Pickle there in Dallas.
Are you sure my producer didn't pay you, man, or Lauren Mark didn't pay you, Kemp, that runs Grapevine? Because that's my plan, baby.
That running Grapevine, that's where our grand ceremony is going to be for the opening. That's where we're hosting it. So that's amazing. I love this.
Well, all right. Well, listen, whoever wants to get out to me, wants to maybe come on the show or give me some critiques, good, bad, ugly, or want to be a part of the show, or if you are watching this and want to show us a product or something like that that's unique, you can email me at Curtis, Curtis, at ReeseRacketSports.com. And I don't want this to end, but it has to. So anyway, well, what I do is I want to thank you for joining me, Rick, and it's good meeting you. Hell, first time I met the guy, called him the wrong damn name, and he was like in 10 foot of snow. I'm like, oh, I really jacked up that meeting, but God, I thought you were messing with me. And I'm like, oh shit, he's in the middle of nowhere. He's in Indianapolis and it's winter.
My dad calls me 7 siblings names before he gets to mine. It's all good.
Oh, well, I got a number, dude. 1, 2, 3, 4. You name it, whatever. All right, well, listen. So the other thing is, thanks for joining, and please take some time to check out the other shows we have. You might recognize some of the athletes that we have on here, Rick. Not because you're old, just because you and I are old. It's because we've been around a while. And there's different shows for good moods, bad moods. But hey, at the same time, if you see somebody hesitates that isn't sure about their playing pickleball, grab their elbow, grab their arm, and politely say, "Come on, let's pickle." Rick, take it easy, brother. Have a good time, man. We'll talk soon.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Later,
Great
brother.
job.
See ya.
Love your show.
Thank you very much.
All right. See you, Curtis.
Coming through.